Hey everybody. So this video is the state of AGI heading into 2026. And if you're not aware, my company is called Applicable Grounded Innovations, or AGI. And then so this is the state of AGI, or that headed into 2026 overall. And then to me, it kind of plays into I think what people are thinking on both ends of that, and then we'll dive into kind of just like I have a lot of thoughts overall on these subjects, and these kind of just like my last 3 years of thoughts overall with regards towards like what's going on, what's been going on, etc. with AI. Like as we head into the new year overall, I figured this would be a good time to do this, and then so number one is $1 trillion is a terrible thing to waste. I think that's like a big thing that's been prominent on my mind. And then, so if you're not aware, that is the head, he's like the current co-founder of LinkedIn, Reid Hoffman. He put out that statement that $1 trillion is a terrible thing to waste. And I agree with that statement overall. I think it's true, right? That that's exactly what has occurred, and that is from the Ilya interview earlier this week, where Ilya mentioned that it's kind of been like $1 trillion of wasted investment into AI overall, and that's like a big thing. I've been saying for years on this channel, and I can't stress it enough. Right? Is that uh, the big thing why I like AI so much, why I continue to be at the forefront of it and stay at it, is because of factors like this. The fact that it's money isn't what leads and drives forward innovation within AI. Like I said recently, someone asked me. They said well, don't you have a lot of competitors when it comes to in AI, in the AI space, et cetera. There's a whole bunch of people that are doing what you do, et cetera. I said, yeah, that's the whole entire world is jumping into it. But I have a whole bunch of competitors that don't know what they're doing. So it doesn't really matter to me, right? If I can have 1,000 competitors that don't know what they're doing, and it doesn't really phase me at the end of the day, is literally how I look at that overall, right? Uh, and then second thing within that, and it's these kind of tie together to me, but this is just how it goes, is that Nvidia's moat is getting absolutely wrecked. I feel like this is one of those topics and one of those areas where I was way too far ahead of the curve on this, 3 years ahead of the curve, right? I feel like in that, you miss out to me on a lot of money within that, right? I wish I had bet hard on Nvidia, and then when everyone else was betting hard on it, betting it up to the biggest company in the world, and then I just shorted it, started shorting it from there. That would have been the ideal track, rather than just saying I think all of this hype around Nvidia for this last 3 years, I'm just going to stay completely away from Nvidia. And that's kind of been my approach overall. I've been waiting for the market overall to get to exactly where it is, right? And then right now, the big thing with regards towards Nvidia is they're getting hit on two fronts, right? Which is China's inventing their own chips and releasing their own chips, and then Google's TPUs and are taking off with regards towards a competitor to actual GPUs, and what Nvidia's AI moat is within that, which both of those things are exactly why I've been very bearish on Nvidia from the beginning, right? Because that's what I've been trying to stress within this, is that if you look at it from the typical, if you look at all of this from the typical aspect of just putting a whole bunch of money in, setting your flag in, and uh, the race, and then building your moat off of that, and then building a huge moat that is just going to block every other competitor from getting in, the traditional business sense. That's what's getting clobbered 100% all throughout this, right? And that's I mean, the big thing that is the big narrative that is going to be, for me, ever present all throughout this as we go through this overall, is that. Uh, But when it comes to NVIDIA specifically, that's I've been highlighting that from the beginning, right? That essentially that is exactly um, the exact opposite that is going to occur when it comes to AI and like AI chips and AI GPUs, etc., because they just operate off of different technology that doesn't like there's no uh, way to monopolize it in that same way as we're seeing, right? You just need the resources in order to do it, in order to build it, and that's exactly what is occurring. And then now we're seeing two competitors in Google and China, but I think we're going to see more and more. There's already other competitors that are already building these things in the background and have been. You just don't hear a lot about them, like Hawaii, Facebook, Meta. Like there's like go with like 15 to 20 companies that are in this Nvidia that are like invading Nvidia's moat and have been invading Nvidia's moat for like 3 years, and it's like just now starting to be like mainstream. Like people are starting to recognize this. Like oh, like maybe Nvidia's moat is weak. Yeah, I've been challenging for 3 years. Like it's super weak. Same thing with OpenAI, and I look at that kind of like that same thing. Like OpenAI is in this exact same position. Like the big thing that I see and like the big news that I see around OpenAI currently right now is like the Kimi models, right? And like Kimi essentially has knocked OpenAI off of fully 100% off of their pedestal, offering a better model than OpenAI offers for free compared to $20 per month. So why exactly would you go with OpenAI overall? And then on that front, it's really like um, they have no advantage at this point except for first mover advantage, which in the United States seems to be and will continue to be a big advantage at least for a while. But like um, that's very fickle and will change over time as well. So like the two companies that I've been the most bearish on and waiting to catch up are like I think the world is finally starting to catch up on those things, and Nvidia and OpenAI are starting to uh, have their lunch eaten a lot, right? And then like OpenAI, the big one is that, and then going back to that whole Ilya interview, like they bet wrong, right? Like they bet on scaling, like infinite scaling from that equation, like there. And once they cracked scaling, they bet on infinite scaling, and that's why and how OpenAI came into existence in its current form with and ChatGPT 3.5, etc. And then the rest is kind of where we're at right now in history. And then where we're at right now in history is that they made the wrong bet overall, and they're starting to pay the price within that. And then within that, and tying into that, I think that like going back to that like waste of trillions of dollars, right? Like it's trillions. I don't think it's just a singular T, right? But within that, we're still 3 years later, still no fully plug and play AI agents. Like we're closer now than we've ever been, which will continue to be more and more the case, right? Like we're like the wall is just now, like right now, like starting to cave. I think it will cave. By like this time next year, the wall will be gone finally, right? And that's the first time that I've actually taken that stance, and this stance overall. I've been like, it's still too far gone because of like all of the reasons why it's been so hard to crack, right? Like once um, it was hard to crack the first time, I just uh, studied and then figured out and dove into why exactly that was the case, and then um, what has changed around that is these two things here, and I'll dive deeper into that. But like until like there was movement here, like there is no way to solve this agent problem overall, right? Because it's uh, why it's been failing is like been the large unknown, and then why it's been failing is because we haven't had a full deep understanding of why exactly AI is working overall in some of these areas, right? And then we started to get a deeper understanding as to why, and then which again doesn't look good for these guys. The more and more that equation goes and then builds out, but then so here we are, right? Which is then led to this, which to me, like, I think this is a wonderful and good situation, and this has been a situation that has been a long time coming and will continue to play out. But like so like I don't know, people that are like doomers in this area aspect is what I would say, and classify some people as within this, that they think that like just because there's going to be like or they think that they're like just being like talking about a bubble collapse and being on the side like, oh, there's going to be a bubble collapse, that will all of a sudden like that puts you in a good position within that. Right? But so pre bubble collapse, uh, companies there, Google existed, Microsoft existed, like all of the big companies that are currently around today, Amazon existed, uh, all of the like these large companies, they existed pre the internet bubble, and none of them went away. Right? It just essentially like separated the wheat, the like wheat from the chaff, or like I think that's the statement. But That's how I look at this overall AI situation when it comes to a bubble, right? Is AI in a bubble? 100%. Is that bubble partially collapsing, and will it continue to partially collapse? 100%. Will it fully collapse? No. Like, will it collapse as hard as even as like the dot com burst was? No. Like, I think it'll be like half that. But where you're starting to see the collapse, and where the collapse is coming in is good to me overall, is that the people that aren't like actually invested, understand it, and understanding the technology, and then like what it will do, like not actually like bringing anything to the table, is where the collapse is. Same thing with the dot com boom bust, right? Like you had, it was just like pets.com. You just had to have essentially like literally a website or a domain, and then you were all of a sudden like $100 million company. And it was like, no, you have to have like the actual infrastructure and like know how, and like build a solid company around these things, in order to be a solid company, which isn't hard to do if you have those right fundamentals, and then you have the right funding behind it, etc. Which is why people and companies will emerge from that. And but it really separates the like experts from the non-experts within that. And to me, it's good. Like, this is super good. Like there was a period last year where it honestly, like, it felt like, what is the point of being at the forefront of any of this? Because like none of that matters. Like it really honestly felt that way, just because it was like all it was hype. And then so thankfully we've gone from that, and then like as a consequence, again, to me all of these things tie together, right? And as a consequence of that, we've like there's been a shift, and then like a dramatic turn more into physics, right? And then like which is like this whole entire channel has been that for 3 years. But that's what this like again, just being, I guess, early within that, right? But you're starting to see more and more of a pull towards the physics overall. And then to me, overall, this the like this, then the more that this dives into, the more that this happens, the more that, and the more that this happens, and the more that this is a waste. Like, is really what all of that ties into, to me, at the end of the day, right? And I don't think a lot of people understand and get that overall. Like, my stance within all of that hasn't changed overall. And I've told these people, like, and I've told a lot of people these exact things from day one, right? Like, number one, I think that software is worth $0 at this point. Like, software investment is like directly and direct, like AI is directly antithetical to software, and like software monopolies overall. Uh, and then also to like that is also very applicable to the data overall, etc. Like, all of the areas where people think that the moats, where people bet on the moats, like um, they're like, that's not the area, the areas where the moats are. I've been trying, like, if you understand the physics of it, which is what it all boils down to, then it's been very clear, right? Like people are shocked that wow, like this is like coming out of nowhere. No, it's all around this. Just understand this. Like where does it come from? It comes from this. Just understanding this, and then like nothing changes this, right? That's why I like this because it doesn't matter who you are, like how much what you're hyping, etc. Uh, you can't change this. Like no one in the world can ever change this equation, right? Like, and that's like uh, whether it's crypto or the whole Elizabeth Theranos situation and like all like Holmes Theranos and like all of that. It's uh, every single person in the world is beholden to physics overall. And then so that leads us to, and then again, to the next one within this is that like has the physics progressed to the point where we've now solved Arc AGI 2, and then like that's there's a company that is in the news as of now that has said that they have solved Arc AGI 2, and it's like being investigated as to whether or not they've actually fully solved it. And it's just like due diligence behind it, right? Nothing nefarious behind it. Their claims actually seem very solid. Overall, the company behind it is like a bunch of ex Google DeepMind engineers. Overall, and then like their approach, everything that they've released around their approach overall so far makes sense overall as to what they've done, and like to me, I don't think they have incentive to lie heavily around this. It would be they understand that it would be very um, detrimental to them overall to lie heavily in any area around this. I don't think they are, and so I think they have solved it overall. Which then it leads us to the fact that AI Moore's law has continued to hold within this, right? Which is kind of goes against these areas overall, which to me creates like a unique landscape overall with AI, which is what I've also tried to highlight to people from the beginning is that it's advancement and like extreme advancement of in this technology and in these areas, and this advancement will continue in ways that people have aren't really prepared to deal with overall, right? Like which is like why I'm never in the camp of the I call it the doomsayers within the technology, right? That the technology will never work, etc. Overall, because it's that's none of that is true. It will, whether or not you want it to or not. Is that good overall for society? That's a different question, right? But whether or not it's going to be successful in transforming society is not the question to me at all. And that continues to hold, that pace of advancement continues to hold, and that pace of advancement is like so Moore's law was essentially doubling processing power and speed every 2 years. AI Moore's law is more doubling every 6 months. So 4x Moore's law, and it's continued to hold now for 3+ years, no sign of slowing down, and that creates a lot of interesting things, right? Which leads me to this last one, which is the only one of these things that is surprising to me overall on this entire list is number 10, which is essentially that the world is handling all of this change in very unexpected ways. How exactly people are reacting to all of this is the only surprise and the variable to me. It's a very mixed. It's two camps. It's the doomers or the people that think it's going to be utopia. And then to me, I don't know. I've always functioned as a realist overall, right? And then from the realist perspective, I don't think it's going to be either one of those things. I think it's going to be a very transformative technology that is going to change the world in ways that people aren't prepared for, and that there's a small group of people that are driving towards with the knowledge that it will upset jobs, upset industry overall, etc. And they continue to drive it forward with that knowledge in mind. Is like the most simplistic way that I can put that, and that's like that like. In order to advance it in those ways, you have to be at this level, right? But they are, and that's what continues to go on. Like to me, like these and like uh, betting on this and then trying to build out your moat, and then of course it's all leading to partial bubble collapse, right? They're all like leading to all a collapse of whatever however this collapses um, is being led by this overall, um, and that equation doesn't change in any way, but people like seemingly ignore that part of the equation overall. And people, I don't know, they just react weird to me to that part of it overall. And so, if any of this is surprising to me, it's this. Like none of this is surprising to me um, until here overall. And then so. That's my thoughts overall of the state of AGI heading into 2026. And then so there it is. And if you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.